Hey, I'm Adam Jusko, and this is Strictly Credit Cards, where we talk about strictly credit cards. Subscribe, why don't you? In this video, I am reviewing the Bank of the West Cashback World Mastercard. Bank of the West is a bank that, as the name suggests, is mostly on the west side of the country in about 20 states in the West and Midwest. So if you're anywhere sort of on the left side of the United States, there's a decent chance that there are some Bank of the West branches and that this is a card that is available to you. And it's definitely a card worth looking at. It is a no annual fee cashback card, giving you 3% cash back on groceries, 3% cash back on dining, 3% cash back on gas, 1% cash back on everything else. Those 3% categories are unlimited except for the gas. Gas does cap out at $1,500 in gas purchases per calendar quarter. So if you go over $1,500 in gas purchases in a calendar quarter, anything beyond $1,500 is only going to get you 1%. Getting 3% on your groceries, your dining, and your gas purchases all from one no annual fee card is a pretty nice deal, pretty rare in today's market. Now it comes sort of at a cost on sort of the other side of the credit card equation, and by that I mean there is no upfront bonus on this card. So many cashback cards are going to have a bonus opportunity where you can earn $150, $200 often if you spend $500 or $1,000 or whatever in the first few months of having the card. This card does not have an upfront bonus opportunity. So while it's very strong on an everyday basis on the purchases you make with the card, you don't have that upfront bonus. And that upfront bonus is actually big. Sometimes people sort of overlook an upfront bonus and don't realize just how much spending it would take to even get to the place of what that upfront bonus is. So this definitely is a card that is good every day, but that upfront bonus hurts it. And so if I were looking at this card versus other cards on the market, there's a good chance that if other cards had an upfront bonus, even if I thought they weren't quite as good on an everyday level, I might choose those first. If I could get $150, $200 out of the gate in my first few months of having the card, oftentimes I would choose that. For example, Wells Fargo American Express or Wells Fargo Propel American Express card has 3% on multiple categories, including dining and gas and some others as well. And that card has the potential to get you a 20,000 point or $200 bonus. So if you look at that card versus this card, the Wells Fargo card looks a little more attractive. Again, this card good for every day, but you're missing out on that bonus. All right, now when we look at those groceries and gas categories, there are some limitations here in terms of what is going to qualify as a grocery or gas purchase. This is common with many rewards credit cards. Grocery purchases are usually going to mean supermarkets, places where groceries is their main line of business, and that's going to leave out things like warehouse clubs or superstores where they sell groceries, but they sell a ton of other things as well. So that means usually Walmarts are probably not going to qualify, Target is probably not going to qualify, that sort of thing. Now there may be some Walmart stores that code as grocery stores in particular, and those could qualify, but oftentimes they won't. So you should know that going in. But if you're going to sort of a standalone supermarket, then that is usually going to qualify for the 3%. Same thing on the gas. You're looking for gas stations versus places that sell gas in addition to other things, in particular grocery stores or warehouse clubs that have gas as part of their offerings. Those gas purchases probably will not qualify for the 3% if you're going to your everyday gas stations where gas is their main line of business. That's where you get your 3%. Now in terms of redeeming your cash back, actually getting it in your hands, you can only do so once you have earned at least $25, and you can only get the rewards in $25 increments, so $25, $50, $75. Now that means that you're going to have to spend a little more before you ever actually get to redeem, and this is annoying to some people. Assuming that you're using some of the enhanced 3% categories on this card, it probably means you're going to spend somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 before you're going to hit that $25 threshold for the first time. So there is some time probably before you're going to get that money in your hands. Now in terms of getting it in your hands, you can actually redeem it as a statement credit, meaning it goes against purchases that you have made with the card, a sort of partial payment toward those purchases, or you can have the money go into your checking or savings account via direct deposit. Now, as I said earlier, this is the Bank of the West Cashback World Mastercard, and World Mastercard is a designation that comes from Mastercard that entitles you to some other benefits outside of the rewards that we have talked about. There are a number of them, some probably more attractive than others. One that will probably pique your interest, or at least many times it does for people, is the cell phone protection you have if you use the card to pay for your cell phone bill. You have up to $600 in insurance on any cell phone that gets stolen or damaged. So if your cell phone is stolen or damaged, you could have it fixed and you would get up to $600 reimbursement. Now, there is a $50 deductible that you would have to pay, but then after that, up to $600 on any particular instance of damage or a stolen phone. If you had, multiple in a year, I think there's a $1,000 cap if it happened twice. For most people, hopefully that's not going to happen. Now, if your phone is lost, that does not qualify. Now, some people would probably say, well, if my phone's lost, I'm going to say it's stolen, but you should know that you're going to have to show some proof of what has happened to your phone. So if you say it's stolen and it actually was lost, you'll have to file a police report. So that is part of it in order to, qualify for that insurance. So that's something that's definitely worth knowing. Other World Mastercard benefits here, you've got a doubling of the manufacturer's warranty up to 2 years. So if you make a purchase with this card and it has a manufacturer's warranty on whatever you bought of 2 years, you would actually double that to 4 years. If it had a manufacturer's warranty of 1 year, it would double it to 2 years. There is price protection on this card. Things you buy with this card, if you find out that they were available cheaper somewhere else, you can basically report that and get the difference in the amount that you spent versus the sale amount that you found somewhere else. And then you've got things like concierge services that sort of like has a person that will kind of handle some personal stuff for you, like maybe tickets to a concert or seats at a restaurant or something like that. You have Shop Runner membership, free delivery at certain merchants. So you're getting a free membership with this card. You get a discount on Postmates, food delivery services, and then there are a lot of other things as well. A lot of this stuff people will never even use. They won't even realize that they have it on their card, but some of this stuff you might use. You might use that cell phone protection. You might use that extended manufacturer's warranty, maybe some of the other stuff if you're really paying attention. Taking a look at the rates and fees on this card, I've already said it's a no annual fee card. Interest rate range anywhere from 15.99% to 22.99%, depends on your credit history where you might fall in that range, where you would get accepted at. If you get accepted at 15.99%, that's pretty good in today's credit card market. 22.99%, not so good, although there are cards that go even beyond that. You do have a 0% offer for 6 months on this card, so any purchases you make, if you revolve a balance during that first 6 months, you won't pay any interest on those after 6 months. Those interest rates that I just said are going to kick in. Foreign transaction fees, when you use this card outside of the United States, you are going to get charged an extra 3% foreign transaction fee. This is not uncommon for cards that have no annual fee to have this extra foreign transaction fee, but we don't particularly like it. There are other cards out there that have no annual fee that don't have any foreign transaction fees. So charging you an extra 3% to use the card outside of the country doesn't really seem fair. It just seems like an extra throw in to make the bank some money when in fact they want you to use their card when you go other places, just the way they want you to use their card when you're in the United States. And then a common question with any credit card, especially if your credit score is a little iffy, is what is it going to take for me to be approved? Now, Bank of the West is not a major credit card issuer, so they are probably a little more conservative than some of the bigger banks that are willing to go a little further down in terms of credit score. My guess, and it is only a guess, is that you probably would be fine to be approved if you have a 700 credit score or above. If you're in the 650 to 700 range, you're probably getting shaky. Under 650, probably unlikely. Now, if you have any other relationship with Bank of the West already, if you already have a checking or savings account or something else, probably a little more likely that they would be willing to consider you, even if your credit score was a little bit lower than the ranges that I just said, because of the fact that they have some history with you and hopefully some knowledge of you as being a good customer, and that would make them more likely to approve you for their credit card. So overall, a pretty nice card from Bank of the West. You're getting 3% cash back in everyday categories where it's likely that many people spend the most on their credit cards on a no annual fee card. So that is very nice. If you were someone that wanted to carry just one credit card and you wanted to be getting enhanced rewards on the places where you were most likely to be spending on that card, I definitely could see why you would be looking at this card if you're a Bank of the West customer already and you want to have a relationship sort of extended with Bank of the West. This would make sense. If there was an upfront bonus on this card, that would make it truly stellar. And so that's where it kind of falls down in comparison to its competitors. But again, if you only wanted to hold one card and you wanted to have those extra categories and you were going to hold it for the long haul, I definitely could see why this would be the card that you might consider. And I would certainly think that if you chose it, that would not be a bad choice. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I will see you soon.